Connections. Hello, wholeness, beautiful beings. Welcome to my channel. I'm Rashida Silvertree here, and today we're going to talk about connection. When we don't understand ourselves, we seek out others to understand us. Recently, I bumped heads with a loved one of mine, a relative, and especially with our parents, we activate with your parents when you're in disagreement. The inner child is activated. The wounds of the inner child is activated. And I noticed that I have a deep need to be understood by others. And when I'm not understood by others, I feel alone. I feel sad. I feel disconnected, right, from family or community or friends or the world. And I sat in meditation with this and I realized something. There's something in me I don't understand within myself. Otherwise, why would I feel the need to go out of my way to make someone else outside myself understand something I don't understand about me? When we take the time to understand ourselves, we don't need to go out of our way to tell or to seek out someone that can understand us. Also, this really sparked my curiosity about this other concept, or I guess reflection, coming from this message or coming into this message. Sometimes it's unsettling to not understand something about yourself. Especially those who are big brained and they're intellectual left brain, and they need, for us that have curious mind and analytical, critical. And sometimes you have to bask in the space of the unknown and to flow in that space. And it's uncomfortable because we live in a world and a reality and a realm where everything must be understood. You need to acquire knowledge. And the more you understand, the more that you know what's going on. And when you know what's going on, then you can prepare for what's to come. And when you prepare for what's to come, then you'll be good and you'll be safe. But we live in organized chaos. That's the chaotic space, is that feminine, wild, free, feminine energy. Okay? And so I'm learning now that, okay, why did I, scream or get upset and say, you don't understand, you don't listen to me? What do you mean I don't listen to you? You don't understand what I'm saying. You hear the words coming out of my mouth, but you don't understand me. Is it that other person's job to understand us? Because my argument is, to understand someone is to love them. But is it really? Is that what real love is? I guess when we feel understood by the people closest to us, our friends and our family, isn't that a form of love? Don't you feel safe and secure? And then when you're around people who don't understand you, but they still love you, I think that's a deeper way. They're not forcing anything. You're not forcing anything. Do we all have to understand each other all the time in order for us to feel loved and to be loved? And I'm realizing you don't. You don't have to get it all the time. You don't have to understand someone's nature all the time, why they do what they do, why they think the way they think. Why do they create the way they create? Why do they destroy the way they destroy? It's just love is. Love is a state of being. Understanding is like this infinite loophole that knows no bounds. And especially in the age of Aquarius, in the age of knowledge and the accessibility to knowledge, where we're just so much information out there, we have to understand it all. But when we don't understand ourselves is when we become seekers. Is it wrong to seek when you don't understand something about yourself? Or is it about accepting yourself as is? Because love is. I think it's a dichotomy. There's no wrong or right to what I'm saying. I just think that there's maybe an easier way of going about it. Self-love is acceptance of self, regardless of whether you understand yourself or not. But it's almost like validation. When we seek out to be understood by others, we need to be validated. And there's a lot of that. There's so much, the strong need to be validated by other people. Sadly, it's even very materialistic now, you know. Um, like, tell me that I'm doing it right. Tell me I'm living in the right house. Tell me that I'm wearing the right clothes. Tell me that I'm doing the right spiritual or religious thing. Tell me that my faith is strong enough. Tell me that I have enough money. Tell me that I look pretty. Tell me that I look this way. Tell me that my body is gorgeous. Tell me that, my views on this topic is right. Why do we seek validation so much? And I think at the end of it, it's because we're seeking love. Especially in the digital virtual world. I mean, you have people seeking validation from complete strangers. I myself I was seeking validation from my dad. Hey dad, tell me that, what I'm telling you is, you hear me, you understand me, you don't have to agree, but do you understand? And he just couldn't get it. He just couldn't connect. And I'm like, oh, then that means he doesn't love me as much. And I know that that's false. Of course my father loves me. Of course I love my father. But you can't, the danger of this is this whole seeking to be understood, seeking for validation, seeking, it's like you're seeking for love because you don't love yourself. When you love the self, regardless if you understand who or what you are, you don't need to seek it from anybody else. It's that simple. When you love your home, when you love your clothes, when you love the way that you view things, when you love how you express yourself, when you love the sound of your voice, when you love your character flaws, when you love your strengths, you don't need people to understand you. You just don't. I'll tell you a little story back in when I was practicing, which I'm still am. But she pointed this out to me. So I was on celibacy, a long break. It was going on my 3rd year, and this young woman at the time, she was going through like a rough spiritual crisis. And so Source brought me into her life to help her through that. And we're sitting in her home and we're talking, and I bring up celibacy. And I think a couple of things were happening. Okay, she was going through this huge spiritual crisis with a really dark person in her life. And me, I was just in a completely different space, right? I was practicing yogi. I was in Ashtangi, living on a mattress, just very minimalistic, didn't even have a car, okay? Just really simple life. Very, very simple. Simple life for sure. And I kind of brought up like, well, celibacy is this and celibacy is that. Was it the right time to bring that up? Probably not for her, okay? Because at the time I'll say this, she was engaged, but then the engagement was called off, okay? So that's very traumatic. Very, very traumatic for people, men and women, because that's just a really big deal. And so I was saying and bringing it up, and I guess she took it as me kind of bragging, being in this different space from her. And she said, you don't need to seek validation for being celibate. And that triggered me. It shouldn't have if I knew myself, loved myself. But it triggered something in me that she thought that I was seeking validation, right? And a lot of the time when we're doing something for ourselves that we understand why we're doing it, even then we seek out validation. But when you're doing something for you, regardless, you don't need approval from other people. You don't need a pat on the back from other people. Oh, good job that you're doing this. And most people, maybe they think they need, the love languages thing where they need to be, like all told that they're doing a good job. Like showing appreciation for stuff. And my thing is either people see it or they don't see it. I'm not going to force people to tell me I'm doing a good job. It's their choice, right? But I find that it all links back to love. So whatever is in me that I don't understand, also it's a crucial time where source, spirit, your God, whoever you call God, can speak to you. It's those moments where you're unsure about yourself and you don't understand something within you, and God, source, will speak. But before you can hear what's being said, you go out and you call dad, you call therapist, you call your friend, you call your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your kid, right? And it's almost like you want to go to spirit, to consciousness, to God first before seeking approval, validation, and understanding from other people. Not everyone's meant to understand you. Not even the ones that you love and that love you. So that is the message. May this message find you well and whole. Tell me what you think. Remember to expand your consciousness, evolve your human being, and embrace supreme loving guidance. Thank you. I'll see you soon.